So my ideal client is someone who, number one, understands what coaching is and what it isn't. My goal is not to do the work for my partners, but actually help them discover the best strategies and to help them outline a plan of action and hold them accountable to honoring it. For example, if you come to me and say, Coach T, I really want to increase my productivity this year. In 2021, I want to do 20% more in units and I want to get my life back, right? I don't want to grow and sacrifice home. So as a coach, I'm going to help create strategies, a schedule, a systematic approach to help you do all of those things. So an ideal client has to understand what coaching is. Now, I'm not going to do it without care and without candor. And so my passion for your success means that I won't settle for mediocrity. I will not give room to excuses, and I'll always bring you back to why you hired me.
You are listening to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast with host Kevin Jefferson. This is the #1 podcast for African American real estate professionals who are doing extraordinary things. It's time to tune in. And now, your host, the People's Lender, Kevin Jefferson.
Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson, and today we have a guest by the name of Mrs. Tammy Harris. How are you, Tammy?
I am great, Kevin. Super excited for the opportunity, and thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance to sit and have a great conversation with you.
Yes, this is going to be a great conversation. I have a ton of questions, so I'm going to tell you now, if you're listening to this and you're in a position where you can write, I think you should, because Tammy is a real estate coach, one of the best in the business. She coaches agents from all over the country, and she comes highly recommended. And I think you need to get yourself a pen and paper, especially if you're listening to this in Q4 of 2021 and you're looking to propel into 2022. We're gonna give you a chance to get some paper and pen so you can take some copious notes.
I like that.
Yep.
Copious notes. That's what a good friend of mine always says about my notes. And the best thing, honestly, to jump right into it, Kevin, there's something that happens with our ability to retain information when you write it down. And so it's a recommendation, but I'm going to second it as a command. If you really want your brain to resonate with the concept or the principle, take time to write it down. When your fingers and that pen interact and those principles are triggered there's a science that affirms that it will take and stick with you a lot longer. So it's going to be a great time.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I gave up a little bit, but just tell us who you are.
I am the one and only Tammy Harris, and all of us are one and onlys. And so I say that because I do look at it as an honor to be who I am and to walk the walk I walk. I am a native Houstonian, born and raised here in the suburbs of Houston. I am a real estate business coach. I'm a proud mother of Nia Simone Harris, who is the biggest why in the wind beneath my wings. I get the pleasure and privilege of waking up each day and partnering with business owners to help them build their business, to establish better habits and create an accountability relationship. I've been blessed to do this now since 2015. And the journey started long before that because I didn't know that a coach title existed that could be a profession. And so now I get to do what I've been doing now under the guise of being a business coach.
Got you. So Tammy, let me ask you this question. What qualifies you to be a business coach?
So ultimately, qualifications. Number one, I've been through quite a bit of extensive coaching skills, camps, and coaching training. Also, my passion is for helping people isolate blinders in their business and then come up with strategy. So my career journey has included everything from real estate sales to catering sales manager for Hilton, event planner, correspondence representative, office manager, customer service representative, and retail sales. All of those set me up to be really strong at building good systems, building great habits, and also being in a partnership with people to help them move forward. So my greatest qualification is my God-given passion for watching people succeed. And I'm relentless and I am determined. And I've been around enough coaches and been coached long enough to see the value in it. So there's my
Got you.
qualification.
Got you. So as a coach, do you have a coach?
I do. I have several coaches.
Okay.
So I believe that success is definitely something that you can enjoy and experience independent of accountability, but there's greater success when you have accountability partners. So I'm an advocate and a proponent for those that invest in coaching, whether it's a wellness coach, right? Whether it's a mental and or spiritual wellness coach, if it's our physical trainer, if it's our financial trainer, our financial planner. Coaching and consulting, they mirror opportunities. And so I definitely have coaches for different areas of my world, as well as coaching me in my business to grow a bigger coaching firm as well.
Okay, awesome. So prior to becoming a coach, what was your previous history? I know you said something about the Hilton, but
yeah. So literally coming out of college, I didn't know if I would actually use my degree because I was one of those people that went off to college, boomer sooner, University of Oklahoma. So literally I went off to college planning to be an engineer, changed my degree, realized that it didn't align with what I wanted to do with my adult life. And I finished in my passion, which was English. So I actually got a career start using my Bachelor of Arts in English, writing letters for a mutual fund company. So I got into mutual funds, got a license there, was helping correspond, educate, service clients who were buying mutual funds. And then an opportunity opened in the event planning department. And so you could always do an internal hire. I got into event planning. So I was planning corporate events locally, domestic and international, did a lot of travel, a lot of experiences there. 9/11 happened. I went to the other side because our travel department stopped. And so instead of taking all of our sales managers out on the road, we were bringing them in. So there wasn't as much for me to do. And I wanted something different. So that's when I landed at Hilton. And I worked there very feverishly for 5 years, selling proms, reunions, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, you name it, I planned it. But I've got a passion for working for myself. And after 5 years, I said, where can I go to do that? And that's where real estate came in.
gotcha.
So that led me to real estate sales. And while in real estate sales, I led an office for multiple years in various capacities. And an opportunity came forward for me to actually do what I love, which was support the agents, help them grow their business. I actually created the title and opened up my coaching firm in that office in 2015.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So in terms of your coaching,
Mhm.
what is your ideal client? What do you look for?
Great question. So my ideal client is someone who, number one, understands what coaching is and what it isn't. My goal is not to do the work for my partners, but actually help them discover the best strategies and to help them outline a plan of action and hold them accountable to honoring it. For example, if you come to me and say, Coach T, I really want to increase my productivity this year. In 2021, I want to do 20% more in units and I want to get my life back, right? I don't want to grow and sacrifice home. So as a coach, I'm going to help create strategies, a schedule, a systematic approach to help you do all of those things. So an ideal client has to understand what coaching is. Now, I'm not going to do it without care and without candor. And so my passion for your success means that I won't settle for mediocrity. I will not give room to excuses. And I'll always bring you back to why you hired me, why you wanted to do this. And it's always the client's agenda. So my ideal client also is committed to their goals, not interested in them, committed. So when you say, Coach T, I want to get there, and we come up with the plan and it gets uncomfortable or it gets overwhelming, we got to go back to that level of commitment. So my ideal client is someone who understands what coaching is, that's committed, and someone that's willing to do the work. And the work is relative. There are times when I work with business clients and they're coming into the business where they're expanding, right? I have an agent partner who's hiring their new assistants and or new buyers agents or their loan officers, because I coach both mortgage and real estate and all real estate professionals. So sometimes the focus is expansion. Sometimes the focus is infrastructure, but the ideal client is willing to do the work. They understand the partnership, what it is, and they're committed.
So that I hear two things that are great segment. Mm-hmm. Number one, I said client, but you changed it to partner, right? Mm-hmm. And tell us why you continue to call it a partnership.
The one thing that I've learned is that there are different styles of coaches, right? If we look back in our youth, we all have some experience with coaches. Maybe we were on an athletic sports team, or maybe we took piano lessons and we had a teacher who was also serving as a coach in improving our skills in our musical pursuits. Or maybe we were in the band, or maybe we are an artist. We've had experiences with coaches. When you look at someone as a client, in my mind, there is this notion that I get to actually dictate what happens. Whereas in my pursuit of coaching, I get to partner with you. So that means we get to discover the best way to accomplish your goals. And that partnership takes away any ego for me, because I wish I could say that the success that my clients is experiencing have anything to do with me. It's not me. It's their commitment to doing what we agree is the best way. So I've always adopted that mindset of it being a partnership. That means that there's value in what I share, and there's value in what my coaching partner shares. So if you come to a session, Kevin, and you say, Coach T, this is what's going on in my personal world, that's important, right? It's not just a coaching session about your business, because your business and your personal, they intersect at all times. So the partnership is significant to me.
Which would allude to why you consistently say commitment.
Commitment, yes. So I show up at a high level as a partner with someone. If all of my client partners know Coach T is going to be on time, and literally because I value time and I respect time. So as your partner, I expect the same from you. So if we have an appointment at 1:00, that means 5 minutes till you should be there, because I'll be there. And that way we can ensure that we maximize our time together. And so I show up at a high level. I take it real serious. Now I play hard as I work, and I encourage my partners to do the same thing, because all of the success in the world is not worth it if you can't share it with others and or leave a legacy for others. And the beauty of business coaching is that we get to look at all aspects of the business: the charitable giving, the outreach, the service to others, the opportunity to employ others, the opportunity to grow and launch into other streams of income. That's very exciting to me, to partner with people who are not comfortable with where they are. They want more, and more is a good thing.
Got you. So in terms of, let's take a realtor, right? Mm-hmm. When they come to you for coaching, what are some of the first things you look at in even considering them as a client, aside from the partnership and the commitment? What do their business have to look like?
Great question. So the great thing about being the owner of my own company is that I can choose to partner with any business owner. And so for a real estate agent, I don't choose a flag. So their brokerage affiliation doesn't matter. Their tenure doesn't matter. Their commitment is what's most significant. So what I do with my first assessment session, literally we assess where you are. So we do a deep dive into where your business, we look at some major metrics. For example, if I'm meeting with a real estate agent, first thing I'm going to really dig into is their habits. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing day to day to build your business. I'm going to look at their systems. What are you doing to prospect, market, and lead generate to build a business? What are you doing if who's on your team? Where's the talent in your team, whether it's an assistant, a showing agent, your title partners, your lender partners? I'm going to get an idea of where your team is, your infrastructure, and then your vision. We definitely spend some time. Where do you want to go? And challenges. What's challenging you right now? What do you really need to shift first? And then we come up with a strategy. So we spend a few sessions really isolating what's going on, what's working well, what needs improvement, and then we prioritize and we grow from there.
Got you. So what have you seen over this last 6, 7, 8 years? What have you seen has been one of the biggest issues that realtors have when they come to you?
I would say there's at least two very common areas of growth. Okay.
Okay.
And so some people look at it as a challenge, an obstacle. I look at it as areas of growth or opportunities. And so most real estate agents come to me with an area of opportunity around managing their schedule, which means they're out of balance, they're working furiously, they don't have any boundaries established, they're frustrated and fascinated because they're working endless days, endless nights. So that's usually a common opportunity or area of growth. And then also they have a neglected or a disorganized database. They don't have an organized tribe that they are building business relationships with. And so instead they are spinning their wheels every week, every month, every year, recreating and or attempting to create new relationships instead of enhancing existing. So usually there's a time issue and there's a database issue.
So what do you think the issue is with cultivating the current database that they have?
Some agents, the challenge is that we don't look at it as a community. See, a lot of times people think, oh, that's just a past client, or that's a friend, they're never going to do business, or they just bought a house. I don't need to talk to them. I don't need to market to them. And that's a misnomer, and it's a very critical error. And so once you can help an agent understand that your database community includes all of your Mets, all of your haven't Mets, all of your neighbors, your past coworkers, your alumni affiliates, the people you work with in other jobs, they all represent opportunities now or in the future. They all represent possible referrals. And so if you'll do business with them, if you'll communicate with them, if you'll serve them at a high level, they will give you residual referrals. They will help you build your brand, and they will become your tribe that you can count on to support your business. But there is this misnomer that I have to go out and meet a stranger and do business with them, get all my business together, and then I need to prove to my friends and family that they should do business with me. So we avoid marketing to them. We give them a business card once and we never stay in touch with them.
Okay. So with that being said, we have the community. How often should we touch bases with them and how?
Great question. So when you establish your database community, the second most critical piece besides the mindset around it is organizing it, actually putting it into some form of a CRM or a platform where you can communicate with them. So you want to invest in or establish, create if you have to build your own. However, there are plenty out there. You want to use a CRM and you want to cultivate the relationships. My recommendation is that you should be in communication with your database community no less than 36 times a year. And I'll say it again, no less than 36 times a year. And that is a variety of communications. That's communicating with them first, eye to eye, face to face, right? You should create an opportunity where you can potentially spend time with your database community. You also should spend time with them on the phone. at least 4 times a year, you should have a quarterly phone call where it's just a conversation. You get an idea of what's going on in their world. You update them on what's going on in your world, but it's a scheduled, calculated conversation that really keeps that relationship going. And then ultimately, you want to provide automated touches as well, where you're talking about the market, you're talking about your services, talking about what's going on with your business, and or spotlighting other business owners. And then ultimately leverage some type of direct mail as well, but no less than 36 times a year. And as your business reach grows and your budget grows, then you can definitely increase it.
So direct mail is starting to come back around. What do you think? How often should we touch them via email?
So if we were to take those 36 touches and divide them, literally 2 face-to-face opportunities.
Okay.
Create 2 events where you are actually face-to-face, whether it's a support event, such as a seminar, right? Pull together great business owners, wealth builders, you name it. Create an opportunity for your community to come and grow because you invited them. And then also show appreciation for your partners that are referring business and our past clients. So you get to choose which type of events, first and foremost. 2 events, 4 calls. Email, I believe that your email track should be 1 email a month and 1 video message a month. So you should get eye to eye with them in a video message once a month. And then a plain email, automated market report, or best strategies for homeowners. That should be the 2 that are automated. Direct mail, once a quarter. And make your mailer a actual perk or a benefit. Membership has its benefits in your community. So maybe your mailer is a branded ruler with your logo. Maybe your second quarter mailer is a tangible item like an actual grip holder with your logo. When that bottle of pickles won't open, they see your brand, you just pull that out. And again, a handwritten note. It could also be a business spotlight. I partner with Johnson & Johnson AC Company, and they're giving everyone in my database community 10% off of their maintenance calls for the next 90 days. So let your direct mail touch be valuable if it's a tangible good with your brand on it or an actual promotional good where they get a discount.
Wow. Okay. So the next thing is, so on these 36 touches, I've been in the business for 5 years and I'm not touching any of my clients. Now I'm apprehensive to do it because they haven't heard from me in 5 years. Where should I start?
Start with the phone call.
Okay.
Pick up the phone and own that. Ring, ring. Good afternoon, John. This is Kevin, the People's Lender. How are you doing? I have been busy building my business, and I pray you and your family are well. How is the family doing? Have a very authentic, forward conversation with your database, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Talk to them. Find out what's going on. See how you can serve. Make the focus of the call about them. What's going on in your world that I can help you with? Real estate, mortgage, or in between. It doesn't matter. How can I help you today? And I promise to do better. I promise that going forward, as I keep building, I won't let so much time get away from us. And I want you to look for something in the mail from me. Now you own the fact that it's been a while since you talked to them. You gave them the anticipation of the future communication, and you're going to leverage something in the mail to restore the relationship. So 3 years, 5 years, 7 months, it's never too late to reconnect, but to rebuild the mind share and that awareness of your brand, it takes that automated, consistent marketing and relationship nurturing.
Wow.
36 touches. You can get it back. You can get it right back.
36 touches. So in terms of the 36 touches in the marketing, is a part of your coaching helping the agent to establish a budget?
Definitely. So more than anything, when we start assessing where they are in their current business, we also look at their profit and loss statement and or the absence thereof. We look at how they're managing their business finances, right? I'm not a CPA, but I definitely have a great network. And so my goal is to help them understand, okay, where are you? What are we going to do first? One of my greatest wins with a client is when we meet and within 30 days, they've set up their business account, right? Within 30 days, they've actually updated their taxes and or established their LLC or the S Corp, whatever structure that works with their business alignment. Those are wins for me. And as their coach, that's what I'm there for. I'm not there to do it because I can't do all of that. I wish I had that smorgasbord of talents. My goal is to help them isolate what's the most significant and to hold them to it. Meaning, hey, we don't get to move to the next thing until that is done, because all of those are dominoes. We're going to line those dominoes up so that they fall into place, and you can have those minor wins, those big wins, because we celebrate every accomplishment. And my favorite quote from Nelson Mandela: we don't win and lose, we win or learn. So every week we're winning on some level or we're learning on some level.
Got you. So speaking of, how often do you meet with your coaching clients?
Great question. When you consult with us, we have a consultation interview where I explain what we offer, get an idea of what's going on in your business, and you get to choose the frequency. I have coaching partners that I consult with every week on a weekly basis. I have some who do it bi-weekly, meaning twice a month, and I have others who have a monthly coaching conversation with me. Those that are on the monthly plan, those are those who normally are managing this business and another business, and or they're moving at a different pace. That's why they know the tasks are going to take them longer. So they want more time to implement, and they prefer a monthly coaching solution. But those that are extremely motivated, that are really committed to the bigger goals, are meeting with me every week and or no less than bi-weekly.
Gotcha. So what are your thoughts on a real estate professional operating multiple businesses in conjunction with their real estate business?
I love the question. When it comes down to my approach to it, or my personal opinion or my thoughts on it, once you've set up a great business, then it can run independent of you and you can build another business. And sometimes you have the luxury of doing it in that order, right? I'm going to take this one, grow this one. It's rocking and rolling. Now I'm going to launch the next one. That's a perfect world. However, there are other times when, you know what, I'm going all in on both of them simultaneously. My goal, if I'm coaching you in either one, is to make sure that we grow to a mastery level so that they both are successful. So there are times when I coach business owners on different businesses that they're running. I have a team that's a developer and a real estate agent. So there are moments in their coaching session where the focus is on the development business and the real estate business. I have partners that are lenders and real estate agents. So sometimes we're working on how do we hire and attract more loan officers and improve our conversion on the mortgage side. Whereas the next week, we're looking closer at the retention and the recruiting of more real estate agents. So depending on the scope of the business, I get to coach to it respectfully. But I do believe that you cannot be a jack of all trades and a master of none. You have to master something before you can take off on another one. And or if they're going simultaneously, you have to take and look at them very closely. And so some of them partner really well together. I know agents that actually have real estate businesses and they also do property management. That's a good fix, but they are very similar yet quite different. As long as you got the right talent over there, you can run both of those businesses. And there are agents who also have a real estate business and they also offer a concierge service that helps their clients post transactions with utilities and other ventures after you move in. So it's really a matter of how do I maximize and ensure that I'm not having two moderate to average businesses when they both should be exceptional.
Gotcha. So, okay. I'm an agent. I come to you and I've been in the business, let's say 2 years, and I'm valleys and peaks, right? I'm having a good month, but of course, when I'm taking care of everything, having that good month, then my month start to decline. But we can see when I have a good month, oh, I have a good month, right? What would be something that you would tell me in looking at my business that I need to delegate to someone else right off the cuff?
Great question. If you're a real estate agent and you're having those peaks and valleys, the one thing that you're not doing the best at is leverage, right? It means that you're getting pulled into the transaction management. You're getting pulled into the minutia of managing client opportunities instead of out prospecting and securing more business. So the first area of leverage or delegation should be to administrative tasks and or marketing tasks that don't even require a license. So there should be someone else on your team, a talent that is taking care of all of your direct mail, all of your database management from a marketing standpoint. The relationships never get delegated, right? We don't delegate relationships away, but marketing tasks, administrative tasks, delivering signs, putting lock boxes on the door, meeting photographers for listing pictures, those are administrative tasks that should be delegated. At the same time, if our production is in such a way that we have an influx of leads, meaning there's so many leads coming in because I got a great number of listings, then we need to manage and attract a showing assistant and or a buyer's agent. Those are your first two hires between administrative support and or showing agent or buyer's agent. That way those leads don't fall on the ground and go untouched. And that way, those two areas, you get those two fixed, the sky is the limit. And then your business doesn't do that anymore. It does this.
So what's a showing agent?
So a showing agent is someone who is literally hired to strictly show property for you. So here I am, year 2, year 3, year 4, and I have 3 active listings this week. I'm working with 3 buyers. The 3 listings require a very, very minute part of my schedule. But actively showing those 3 buyers, that is hours and hours of my day and week. If I have a showing assistant, they're compensated either by the number of hours they work, or they're compensated by the number of doors they open, or they may be compensated by a percentage of the sale. And their role is to do that work. Go show the Johnsons the 4 houses. Go show the Fitzpatricks the 4 houses and help them choose the one, and I'll write the offer up. And so it's the highest form of leverage with the least amount of investment.
Okay. The administrative person that you spoke of, what would be their role in our business?
Great question. So your job description for your executive assistant, your administrative assistant, your operations assistant, whatever title you want to give them, is to take care of the 80% that doesn't create money for you immediately. So it's anything marketing related. It could even be any of your event planning. It could also be your social media content management. It could be your transaction management. An ideal talent could do all of those things until your business grows and they become separate roles. So if I were an active agent, I would be looking for a rock star that can take and come alongside and be the Robin to my Batman. And so I need you to get a license. I need you to do anything and everything that I'm doing so that I can do more of the prospecting and the actual consultation appointments with sellers and buyers. So a licensed operations assistant, administrative assistant, they pretty much manage those things until they become separate divisions.
So what is your definition? And I'm going to say your as a coach and as Tammy. What is your definition of the role of the realtor in the business?
Great question. I believe that we are a consultant. Number one, when you are a licensed realtor and you are meeting with a seller and or a potential buyer, an investor, a landlord, or a future tenant and buyer, whatever their title is in the transaction, whatever party they represent, you're there to consult them. And I believe that the highest fiduciary, aspect of our role is to educate them, to give them knowledge that they otherwise wouldn't have based on our relationship with the market, our knowledge of the market, our access to data. So as a consultant, you should be the face, the voice, the expert that they trust when it comes down to how they're going to choose to invest in buying a home or selling a home. And once you're the consultant, you're also the strategist. You should be the one that helps them strategize on pricing for our sellers, staging for our sellers, marketing for our sellers. As a buyer's agent, when you're discussing strategy, you're going to do your needs analysis with them as to what matters the most in the home. You're going to be the strategist that helps them understand that it does matter what the home is worth, that this is an equity building opportunity. And also you're the strategist for your buyers and sellers because you actually connect them with all of the other players in the transaction. So you're the conduit that helps bring alongside the best title representatives, the best lenders, the best insurance, the best inspectors, the best general contractors. So we're the consultant, we're the fiduciary, we're the expert, and we're also the master juggler. We bring all those parties together.
Okay. So from experience, why don't you think more agents have that structure?
They were never taught or shown, number one, right? Some of us are fortunate that we may launch our business with a larger brokerage that gives us, expansive training and coaching and consulting. Others, we come into the business, we learn by doing. We learn by seeing. We may be with a smaller independent broker who only shows us what they did, right? Not a bad thing, it's just a limiting thing. So I believe that ultimately we don't know, and that's why we don't know and we don't do. Others resist it. There is part of our human nature that wants to explore. We want to get creative. We want to do it our way. We want to I'm going to do this different. Well, experience has shown, right, that if you do this, it'll work. Because as much as we think ourselves extremely smart in this industry, real estate is not rocket science. And success leaves clues. So there are many people that have gone on, that have done this, that have left back for our reference a blueprint. We need to follow it. And so most agents come into it for planning when they're launching the business because they don't look at it like a business opportunity. I was one of those people. I made the decision to get my license. I was on a fast track. I did my classes in 3 weeks. The day I took my exam, I brought my piece of paper to my broker. I was like, I'm ready, let's go. And so did I have a business savings? No. Did I have money set aside to maintain a lifestyle that I was accustomed to? No. I was like, I need to eat. I need to take care of my child, so let me get to work. And so I went into autopilot and it worked out. But ultimately, if I wouldn't have had vision and the great support system, I may have been like a lot of new agents who exit our industry in the first 2 years. Almost 80% of them do. So it's poor planning, it's poor knowledge, and it's just resisting the systems and models that work.
80% of the agents who enter into the business
leave in the first 2 years.
First 2 years.
That is a national statistic. And I have seen it in my 15 plus years. It is true.
Wow.
So for any agent listening, if you are past 2 years, you have made it. Just stick to it. Just literally take the time to stop running it naturally and organically and get purposefully, get intentional, and fall in love with the monotony. It's simple. It's not complicated. You get up every day, you do the job, and the results will come. And that's what I coach to, the simplicity of the work.
So at what point as an agent do we need a coach?
I believe that anyone who wants to improve where they are, where they're going, should invest in a coach, right? You look at any athlete, you look at any musician, you look at any mastery level profession. There's consulting, there's training, there's mentoring from day one. So I've had the pleasure of coaching agents in their beginning, right? I can look at some agents right now that are closing, 15 and $20 million annually. And I can go back 3 years ago when they were in their rookie year and they barely did 2.5. But they invested in coaching early. And I look at agents who may have even had a soft start in their business, had been out there, playing around, treating it like a hobby, getting hobby results. We partnered with them around year 3, year 4, and now they're on a trajectory to hire and to continue expanding, right? And that's what's exciting. So it's never too early or too late. I have the pleasure right now, when I look at my roster, I have some partners that have been in the industry longer than me that I get to coach that are still growing, that are still looking at ways to expand their business and get more out of it and work less and or create other opportunities, creating charitable outreach opportunities, creating educational initiatives in their communities where they're served. So your business vision, it shifts, but a great coach can help you come up with the strategies no matter how long you've been in it.
Wow. So let's talk about a topic that I'm very passionate about. Mm-hmm. African American real estate professionals.
Definitely.
We are, in terms of income in this industry, we're at the very bottom. Mm-hmm. The very bottom. There's nobody below us. Mm-hmm. How can we change that, Tammy? And when I say that wholeheartedly and passionately, because I know some amazing, dope real estate professionals who don't close much. And it sucks because I hear them trying to figure out what they can do. They've tried certain things, and it just baffles me that we're at the bottom of the totem pole. When I say we're at the bottom, and that's the whole premise of my podcast, is to figure out and highlight African American professionals who are doing amazing things in different spaces of real estate, not just realtors. And I want to get the message out. And I want if this podcast changes one realtor's life, then it was worth my time.
Definitely. And I agree. Same here. I will tell you, the way we improve upon it is we have to really look at the business aspects of real estate and owning a real estate company, right? Unfortunately, many licensees, we get into it and we approach it somewhat cavalier, sort of nonchalant, or even on the other side, which is even worse, arrogantly, right? We come, I got this, I know it. And we don't listen. We don't spend time with people that know. I'll never forget, I was so blessed that when I decided I wanted to go into real estate, I called my sister and I said, do you know any realtors? Because at that time I didn't know any. And she said, yes, there's one at my choir in my church. Here's her name, call her. And I called her and she answered. She spoke to me and she said, well, here's where my license is at this office. Call this person. They'll tell you all about the office. And if you like it, no matter what, let's set up a time and you can come follow me. And she extended the courtesy for me to spend 2 weeks while I was in real estate school, literally being her gopher. I rode in her car. I went on listing appointments with her. I went to open houses. Couldn't say a word. I wasn't licensed, but she actually showed me how she was running her business. She looked like me. She was one of less than 5 people that looked like me in that office. And she was a top producer. And so she was in the top 20% of the office. And that 2 weeks changed everything for me. I picked up on some great habits. I even picked up on some of her not so great habits. But again, spending that time with her changed everything because it gave me a true idea of what the job looked like. Because otherwise, when you get your license, it's sink or swim. You got to find it. You got to get in where you fit in, and you may not. So I believe we can change it if we open the doors for more honest mentoring, more honest coaching and consulting. And we also understand it is a professional enterprise. It is not just something, oh, the deals are going to fall out the sky, I'm going to write check. There's work to be done. And if we can take on the same mindset as someone who opens up a Subway franchise or a McDonald's franchise, right? They go through extensive training. They go through mentoring relationships with other operational franchisees. They visit other stores, right? If we can create that mindset and those type of paradigms and those type of relationships amongst African-American agents and professionals, we'll change the game.
So how do we set up those experiences? Because you don't see those people.
And so here's the challenge. We have multiple real estate networks, right? Networks for all parts of the industries. And we are parts of bigger associations and bigger boards. We really have to just put our egos aside and start creating it. And some of the infrastructure already exists. Some of the organizations are, definitely in a rebuilding phase. But I think we become a ambassador of one, right? So if I can be the one who commits to reaching out and reaching back as I climb forward, right? If I do that, if I open up the door to, number one, the next generation, am I going out to the schools and to different groups to let people know what an honorable and amazing opportunity it is to own a real estate business? So I can affect the next generation. I can go to my co-op agents. I can go to agents in my associations. I can go to agents in my social media networks. And let's create a dialogue to elevate our thinking around it. And let's get out of our own way. Now, I wish I could say it was simple and that it's going to happen overnight. It won't, because our industry, like many other industries, are definitely contending with the legacy of being a disenfranchised group of people post-slavery. So we're still recuperating from that. And it just shows up in all of our industries. But I know it can be better. I know that I do a very significant concerted effort with the clients that I choose, with the vendors that I partner with the businesses that I hire. Whenever I host my client appreciation events for my past clients, my current clients, I am 85% hiring people that look like me every time. So when I got together all of my coaching partners and all of my vendor partners, we were at a African-American owned winery. We had an African-American photographer. We had an African-American DJ. My balloon artist was African-American. The company that I rented my signage from, all of those were concerted efforts for me to create more opportunities, not just inside of that one moment, but to expose my agent partners to other business and business owners that look like me. So it's a mindset, and it's be a party of one, and then create the conversations in different organizations. It's not easy because real estate is very, very disjointed. We get divided by our brokerages, right? That's a problem. It's real. So sometimes we don't have the conversations. And then we have certain organizations that exist in certain cities or states, but they don't exist everywhere. And some are newer, some are older, some are, dying on the vine, some are evolving. So we just have to be committed to being better.
Wow. So the oneness, the world is small because of social media, right? There are some groups, as you said, that I've seen 7,000 people, but there's that oneness isn't there. It's like they joined because they could click on a button.
Yeah.
Questions get asked, and they go unanswered, or they go half-heartedly answered. Well, you
Yep.
should know that if you're in this business.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Correct. I believe, yeah, you said something there, Kevin. Ego is real, right? So unfortunately, I'm just going to call it like I see it. Because the real estate industry is extremely transparent about our success, right? We're one of the few industries that loves to tell everybody how good we are, right? That's part of our advertising, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that it's a part of the problem. And so it creates this, for some, not all, this very, very inflated sense of our own value. And so social media allows us to tell people what they want to hear, right? I'm a $100 million producer. That's awesome. Your team generated $100 million in GCI, gross commission income. Tell me, what was your profit margin last year? Oh, I don't know that. I mean, right? Because again, we can give people what we want them to hear or see through social media. Ego is real. So the one thing that we have to understand is we got to meet people where they are, and everybody's not committed to making things better for other people. And unfortunately, because we are in a sales industry, there is this misnomer that there's not enough to go around. So there's not nearly enough of us that buy into abundant thinking. Many of us are limited thinkers. So we want to operate without sharing. We want to operate without guiding other people because we fear that they will take, because there's not enough to go around. There are people who, if given this opportunity, they would never sit and talk to you about what they do for free. They would never tell you all the good stuff for free. And that's ridiculous, right? That's ridiculous to someone like me and yourself that are givers. We're not takers. So unfortunately, takers are among us. Unfortunately, ego is among us. And the only way we can move beyond it is to create more givers.
Right.
One at a time.
And that's all it takes.
Yeah.
So, okay. What is your outlook on the upcoming real estate market the next 2 to 3 quarters?
I believe that we are definitely slated for another round of opportunities, right? Real estate is a industry where you get in and you can grow no matter what's happening. The minute real estate agents shift their thinking around who they're going to do business with, everything changes. So if I'm coaching a real estate agent, I'm reiterating to them going into 2022, you need to really secure your mind share with your database. You need to be the expert that they call when they have questions, when they're looking for business alliances, when they're looking for vendor recommendations, because if someone's not buying or selling right now, they know someone who's planning to buy or sell. You want to be the influencer that they think of about real estate. So that community needs to be top priority. Number two, who we get in business with needs to be an even more important priority. Your allied resources, now more than ever, real estate professionals need to align with great partners. If you don't have a great arsenal with regards to the whole scope of our business, if you don't have relationship with builders, developers, contractors, lenders, title representative, insurance representative, inspectors, you don't have appraisers that can keep you educated of the trends in their area, this is the time, because education is going to be so powerful because there's so many disruptors. Those disruptors and those technology changes are going to create confusion for the consumer public. So agents, we have to be in business and in relationship with other great smart people. And so that's important. If you're not going to invest in yourself, you're not going to be able to maintain a real estate business. If you've always run your business, oh, I'm just going to do a few deals here and there, and I'm going to, whatever happens, happens, it's going to be harder and harder to treat real estate like a hobby. And it's going to definitely become a greater leverage for those who treat it like a business. And so in the next 2 to 3 quarters, those agents who are speaking the language of equity, who are speaking the language of investment, who are speaking the language of diversifying how we even approach conversations with homeowners, with potential buyers, they're the ones that are going to win.
Okay. Right now, we're talking, this is fourth quarter 2021. I don't know if we're still in it or out of the pandemic, right? But right now, the real estate market is booming. Something that I see, and I want to hear from a coach's perspective, how do we understand that this lottery ticket that we've won isn't going to continue forever?
Very good. So the most important thing is our agents have got to become local market experts. You have to start looking at economics more. You have to start looking at the political climate of the areas that you serve and do business in. So now more than ever, I believe that we have to be really well-rounded in our understanding of the things that drive the housing market, right? And so you are spot on when you say we have a luxury right now. There's a lot of opportunity. And there are some people that would argue that it isn't, right? They will say, well, there's such high demand and interest rates are historically low. There's tons of pin-up buyers who want to buy, but there's not enough sellers to service them. Yeah, but every seller has an agent and that agent has a closing, right? And so there's still a lot of opportunity happening in real estate and it will not last. There will come a moment when, like any other industry, if you study the patterns, we're going to peak and then it's going to stabilize. And when that happens, you've got to have the best community waiting to continue to do business with you. You got to have the best knowledge. And you have to be really serious about how you manage your expenses. Because I do believe that the pandemic has given us a gift and a challenge with regards to virtual and digital opportunities. And so I believe that successful real estate agents need to be prepared to look at ways to maximize their earnings, because I do believe that our earning capacity may be challenged as the consumer public starts to question the value of our commissions. And so if that happens, you have to find a way to create value for your clients and also multiple streams of income.
Gotcha. So something that we didn't touch on, and you keep saying it in a different way, a niche, or is it niche? Which one, whichever one you call it, niche and niche. What are your thoughts on that?
Very good. You've got to find your sweet spot in real estate, right? And so more than anything, that sweet spot should be a source of business that gives you a continuous opportunity for listings and or a continuous opportunity for referrals. And so I believe that you need to isolate areas of interest that challenge you, that inspire you, that push you outside of your comfort zone. So I have an agent partner whose passion is for seniors. So she has built a strong percentage of her business serving the senior community. And her service is not just in their real estate. She actually partners with organizations that educate seniors and their families about preparing for long-term health needs, alternative living environments. She partners and educates and creates training opportunities inside of adult living, senior and adult only living communities. So she's built as you said, a sweet spot, a niche around that, but it's her passion. She did not want to see other seniors taken advantage of, so she's purposefully advocating for them. She works with estate planners. She works with those that are dealing with seniors that are transitioning into home health environments, and that's a big passion of hers. But on the flip side, I have an agent partner who is passionate about investors because where she lives, there are a lot of absentee investors. They have vacation homes, they have lake properties. So what she's been doing for the last year is being an informant, an educational resource. Here's what's going on in our state. I know you don't live here, so I want to keep you informed. These are the things that are affecting the tenant laws here. Because imagine you have rental properties in Washington State, but you live in Florida. Well, the tenant laws are changing in Washington State. A good local realtor is keeping you informed down in Florida. But again, that's her passion, and she spends additional marketing and activities that she does specifically for those absentee landlords. So you find your niche. It could be in flipping or developing. You could all of a sudden find yourself really studying land and going out and partnering with people that are putting together investment groups that are actually buying up land, big parcels, hundreds of acres, and developing them. Those are long-term projects, and that's visionary. That's changing the game. That's giving you longevity in real estate and giving you multiple streams of income.
Wow. So when a person has a niche, is that all they do?
No. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket. However, you look at your return on your investment. And you also start looking at, okay, I've been doing this 5 years. What do I want my days to look like, right? Do I still want to go out and talk to buyers? Do I still want to go out and meet with the sellers? Or do I want to have a fully operational real estate team and I'm just the figurehead for it? I'm just the brand, the name. I'm no longer doing the work. And at that same time, though, I've started a nonprofit organization where I'm educating children on how to be, entrepreneurs. Or maybe I'm also writing, books to help other agents learn how to be better agents. Or maybe I went to the whole other side of the world and I'm traveling and I'm learning real estate in different parts of the world and contemplating getting licensed there. You get to choose how much you leverage out and how much you retain. But ultimately, you have to be careful if you do all of one, because it's the same with sellers and buyers. You only want to be an exclusive buyer's agent if you work on a real estate team. But a great real estate team expects their buyer's agents to also create seller opportunities. So ultimately, there should always be diversity in what you're doing.
Got you. So teams. Do you coach any teams?
I do coach real estate teams, and I do believe that it's a great opportunity for you to expand. If you want to increase your revenue through others, you build a real estate team. You build a book of business that's big enough to support and fuel others so that they can actually create their goals and actually conquer them as well collectively. And so it starts with the administrative support, the buyer's agents, the listing agents, and even the sales agents who are responsible for outbound and inbound sales. So you get to decide how robust of a team. But you can even flip it. I have a partner who was born and raised in Texas, moved to Louisiana, but she kept her license in both states. So now she's expanded her team because she now has an agent licensee representing her brand in Texas, and she has herself and another agent in Louisiana. So now she has two different states that her team is functioning in. So all of her friends and family that she grew up with, she can still service them. So she's still the person they call, but now she has, like I said, her Batman and Robin relationship. She's got a Robin in Texas who will do everything that she's trained her to do and be her representative.
Okay. 2 questions.
Go for it.
First question, when do I know I need to expand to a team? I've got my showing agent and I've got my admin. When should I what's the next hire?
So you'll know you need to actually hire another agent, another licensee to work with clients when leads are going untouched, unmanaged, and they're literally falling by the wayside. Ultimately, in real estate in particular, if you're not averaging a minimum of 2 to 4 new listings each month, then you don't have enough residual new opportunities for a buyer's agent. So have you built a book of business where you're taking on new listings, at least 2 to 4 every month? If you have that book of business, you are ready for a buyer's agent.
Okay. Which goes into my next question. I'm a buyer's agent. I'd like to be a buyer's agent for someone's team. How do I know which is the right team for me to join?
Great question. The buyer's agent chooses a team atmosphere because they found their sweet spot. They love that side of the transaction. They love managing those needs analysis and consultation appointments. They enjoy the showing aspect. They enjoy the negotiating of the contract, representing the buyer. They know how to manage the transaction from contract to close. So they have found their strength in this side of the industry. So you choose a team that's going to elevate you, meaning they're going to create more opportunities for you to do high volume. They're also going to create more opportunities for you to diversify the clients you serve. So if I were an agent looking for a team to join, I would be looking for a rainmaker or a team leader who's visionary, who's looking to expand in multiple markets, who's also got a great infrastructure as far as operational support, someone whose values align with mine, and someone that I want to grow with, that I would also trust with the seller opportunities. Because remember, my buyers today, in the next 5 to 7 years, will be sellers. So I need to be on a team where, you know what, I stay in touch with my buyers so that when they sell, our team will be the representative when they sell that home.
Got you. So for those struggling agents who don't want to join a team, what do you think are one of the things that are holding them back from joining a team?
The biggest thing when you look at a team arrangement is you have to look at volume and value, and you have to look at profit. The rainmaker or the team leader, some people use those languages interchangeably, but the leader of the team, right? They're going to invest in their agents. And by investing in their agents, coaching them, consulting them, training them, providing lead opportunities, providing additional support staff, they're going to expect a referral. And so that's why when you become an agent on a team, you pay the rainmaker a referral. As long as the value is there, you never question the referral amount. But if the rainmaker in that team is not giving you value, it's not an equitable opportunity. Also, if that rainmaker is not creating a pool of opportunity so that you can have volume, again, you need multiple units to offset the referral. So if you are struggling in real estate, joining a team doesn't fix the struggle, because you still have to master the skills so that you can be successful independently. If I'm a rainmaker, I'm not going to hire you if you cannot convert. I'm not going to trust you with leads if I don't know that you can convert them. So if you're struggling, improve your skills, maintain the learning base, and go back to what works, which is talking to your community. Go back to the people that know you, like you, trust you, and create a moment for them to refer business to you. But when you explore team opportunities, there are expectations, there are standards. You're not going to join a team and not be expected to produce. That's the reality. And also, don't join a team for short-term filler. A rainmaker is not looking for a temporary hire. They want to keep that back door closed. They want to ensure that they have great talent that's going to grow with them. And if you're great talent, then they're going to invest in you and they're going to reciprocate. They're going to give you a very profitable split. They're going to give you more resources. One of my agent partners, we were on a coaching call this morning, and she has a rookie, right? She's in her first 12 months of real estate. She's a buyer's agent. She's had a couple of closings. She's got several pending, and she's gifting her an opportunity to go to her first mega real estate conference. And she's like, I'm going to pay for her to go, because that's something I can't even begin to explain to her what it's going to do for her business. Good team leaders invest in their people. So you choose a team leader that's going to invest in you and that's also going to hold you to a production standard. Because otherwise you would just be struggling on your own and not struggling on a team.
Wow. I never looked at it like that.
My role is to always change the way you think and to give you just a moment to say, questions, observations, perspectives. That's what coaching is about, is challenging the way we look at things. Because honestly, there's a win-win in team opportunities. And when you create an ecosystem and an environment where people won't leave you, they will help you grow your business exponentially. I've seen it. I've seen buyers agents that are with their rainmakers for years and decades. They don't leave because they have a great relationship. They're honored. They're servicing at a high level. There's camaraderie. There's a value system and a culture. You can't beat that.
Wow. So listen, I had this, no exaggeration. Today, I had an agent call me and ask me, she said, the next time you talk to someone on your podcast that's a coach or a listing agent or buyer's agent, ask this question. She didn't know I was filming today either.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you. They're in a small town, right? They've been in real estate for some years, but they've had those valleys and peaks that we're talking about. They want to know, one problem they're having is that they're getting the buyer to the point where they can now become a buyer. They're working them, they're sending them to the credit repair, they're sending them to the lender. But then when they get to that point, they're losing them. They want to know, what do you think they could be doing wrong, or how can they ensure that once they've put that investment in those clients, that they will stick with them?
Great question. So a couple of things that I immediately would want to analyze. Number one, I would want to analyze what's the communication chain between the realtor, the buyer prospect, the lender, and the credit repair person. Because if I'm the real estate agent and I've recommended to my buyer prospect, John Johnson Credit Repair, then John and I should have a communication channel that is so robust and so organized to where that every time John connects with the buyer prospect, John is reinforcing my value, my brand, right? So do we have a communication channel that we share? Do we have a monthly call that we revisit? Do we have a shared online, virtual or digital platform, we should be in a constant communication cycle. Agent, prospect, lender, and credit repair person. And if the lender and the credit repair person are not protecting my relationship with the lead that I brought to them, that is on me and no one else. So we've got to look at how we're communicating once that lead is put into the care of the lender or the credit repair person. Secondly, how much are we following up? To most of our detriment, we lose a lot of business because of follow-up, because this goes on in our head. Well, I don't want to call them too much, or I don't want to, seem like I'm bothering them or pestering them. So you let 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months go by. And then all of a sudden you see on social media, oh, they had a housewarming party. That's not on the consumer client. That's on us, the business owner. If I am serious about the leads that I'm nurturing, if I am committed to bringing them to the actual closing table, I am not going to let them go. I'm not going to let X amount of days pass without a communication effort on my part. I'm going to make sure that I'm providing value, that I'm touching base with them, that I'm getting face to face with them, and I'm staying a priority in their mind. Because guess what? It may be 2 years from now. It may be 18 months from now. It could be 8 weeks. And a long time, during that time, there are dozens of other real estate agents that are marketing and connecting with people. That is why it is so important to maximize your follow-up. Leverage your technology, but more than anything, just get very clear on what your true pipeline looks like. And don't let it go. If you're nurturing a lead pipeline right now that has 100 plus leads in it, they should be your highest priority. Their names, their faces, their wants, their whys should be where you can see it at any time. And that way you know who you should be talking to every week, every other week, once a month. Secondly, there's another possible problem. I said one problem was the communication.
Right.
The second one goes back to how we started. Anytime a lead, there's a disconnect between the lead and the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, they go somewhere else and we question it, I always go back to the initial consultation. Did we make it abundantly clear that we want them to be our client? Did we close them? Or did we prematurely send them away without closing them? And so I would challenge that agent to look inward. All right, when I met with them, or did I meet with them? Right? Did I do a thorough needs analysis? Forgive me, that's Snowflake saying hello. And so pause for a second. Let me let her out because she's not going to stop. So you'll edit this, right? All right. So to your agent, I said the first issue would be the communication channels between the agent, the consumer, and the lender and the credit repair. But the other piece is to go back to that initial consultation. Did we actually close the lead? Did we actually let them know that we anticipate servicing them? Did we actually have them sign some type of partnership agreement that aligns with us being their representative? Or did we prematurely turn them over to someone else, right? Because it's easy. Oh, you don't have the credit score? Not a problem. Here's a number. Call John. He'll take care of you. And when you get your credit score, we'll get back together. You didn't establish the relationship. You literally gave them away to someone else, and it's not their job to establish the relationship. So I would definitely go back and look closely what was said, what wasn't said, what was discussed, what was explained in that initial consultation to affirm to that prospect, I plan to do business with you. I plan to be your representative, whether it's now or 6 months from now. And here's what's going to happen. Many agents leave consultation appointments or new client appointments without a plan of action. It was a pleasure to meet you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I will be calling you tomorrow based on your decision to list with me. On tomorrow, we will schedule your photography. That's a plan of action. We need to do the same thing with the buyer. It was a pleasure learning more about what you're looking for. Your homework is to secure your financing. Once you have that financing, I'm going to follow back up with you in 24 hours to see if we have a proper pre-approval so that we can start the showing process. Or if we don't have approval today, we can organize our plan of action on what we're going to do in the meantime. But we should leave every appointment with clarity on what we're going to do next. And it's always on us, the agent, to follow through, not the consumer.
Okay. Gotcha. So we need to make sure that we are not taking for granted that they're going to work with us because they spoke with us.
Oh, most definitely. If that's all you can say is they spoke to you, and so what, right? And so, and I say it facetiously because it's scary how many people actually think that's all it takes. And that's where it goes back to consulting. If you sit down with an attorney and you schedule an appointment with an attorney, they're going to let you know what their services are. They're going to let you know what their retainer is. They're going to give you a clear expectation of what the partnership looks like. As real estate professionals, we should model that same behavior. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm super honored for the opportunity to partner with you. And this is what our relationship looks like. This is the journey that we're going to travel together. My goal today is to learn more about you and to educate you to determine if we're going to be a good fit for each other. If I'm going to hire you and or if you're going to hire me. If we consult at that level, if we close at that level, if we manage our business with that level of integrity, it changes everything. And to the agent that you mentioned, I would also ask that he or she would also look inward and make sure that you are not projecting any of your own limiting beliefs, any of your own insecurities on your prospects. Convey your confidence in your ability. Convey your commitment to giving great service. Convey your professionalism and give them a reason to understand why they should choose you. Do not let something familiar cause us to assume that business is ours. The minute we start assuming that a client is ours, the minute we start shortchanging the process, we risk everything. So even in my world, I may have known someone for years. I may have even coached them before and they're coming back to me. But I approached that new opportunity with the highest level of regard and integrity. I listen, I explain, I educate, and I close. Is this an opportunity? This is for you. Here's how we do it. If it's not, I respect that. And that's what we have to do as agent partners as well in leading our real estate businesses.
Wow. So Tammy, I have taken up a lot of your time, but this has been very informative to get the insight from a coach. For someone who is interested in finding out how they could utilize your services, have a consultation with you, how do they reach you?
It's simple. I'm a phone call or an email or a text away. I am truly a business owner who is building my business by referral. So there's no huge channel that you have to cut through to get to me. And so I'm here in the Houston area, but I partner with agents and industry professionals all around the world. And so my phone number, 281-690-9165. If you look us up on Facebook, we are Premier Coaching and Consulting. If you email me, it's coacht@premierproductivity.com. It's that simple. But literally, if you call Kevin, if you subscribe to his podcast, you follow him, I'm not hard to find. On Facebook, I am Tammy Griffin Harris. There's no other accounts. There's no other monikers. There's no other hashtags or symbols because I'm simple. today. I'm growing. My team is growing me to explore new things, but it's as simple as a phone call. I welcome the opportunity because I know that we do a great work and we enjoy what we do. All of my partners are truly satisfied with the results that they are getting based on what they're implementing. And I am very, very blessed that I get to do something like this with so many different people. And it changes their world, it changes their clients' world, and it changes our communities. And that was always my mission, was to change the industry through coaching. If I can make other agents better, then their transactions are better, the clients get better service, our reputations get stronger. And that's what we're all about here.
Awesome. Once again, Coach T, Tammy, I appreciate the opportunity to
Definitely
dig inside of your business and your perspective on real estate. This is the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast with Kevin Jefferson. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when the latest video drops.